Hello, this is Adam with Daily Grind Digital, and today we're going to go over using the Collage section in the DGD Crusade Shopify theme. So right here I have a Collage section added into the theme. If you're new here, then I'll just show you. You just click Add Section in the very bottom of your left screen there when you're in the theme customizer, and there is the collage right there. Note that you have up to three blocks that you can add to this section. So these little subsections here are what are called blocks. And you have a couple of different types you can use. I'm going to remove a block real quick. So whenever it's not full, you have the option to add block. If you don't see that, maybe it's collapsed. So you might need to uncollapse it here. And if you click Add Block Now, so you have the option to choose between an image block, a product block, a collection block, and a video block. So I'm going to add in, we'll do a collection, and we can maybe touch on the image block afterwards. So here are your blocks. We have three there. And then up here, if you click into this, so you can click into each block, and each block has its own settings. And you can also click into the section, the collage section, and there are also section settings. So I'm going to go ahead and click into the collage section to get into the settings. And first thing you have is alignment wide and full. So that's just going to affect how wide this collage section stretches in full screen mode. So now I'm in full screen mode. And if I go to full, you might be able to tell a difference here. Let's just stretch the full screen so you can see it expanded a little bit more on the screen there. So it's just a little bit wider. It's not a drastic difference, but it is a difference um, indeed. So you have the collage, the heading of the collage section here. So I titled it Collage Section, but you can title it whatever you want. So you can see that text being added there. You have the text alignment. So do you want to align left, align center, or align right? So you can make those options there. Um, do you want the left large block or the right block to be the large block? So you can flip flop those sides there. Then you have the mobile layout. So we might as well just flip to mobile just to see what that looks like. So here you have your mobile view of that collage section. And so do you want it to be collage or do you want it to be column? Column just makes it stack. So you have the option to choose between those two layouts on mobile. You have your background. So this is for the whole section, of course, because you're in the section settings. So I just set that background to black, but I'm going to go back to white. But you have your options here: primary, secondary, tertiary color, extra light gray. Those settings are controlled in the theme settings, which there is a separate video on. I say that every video because theme settings has its own video because there's a lot of settings, and it'd just be too much to go over here and not the right place. So just for a quick message here, theme settings is this paintbrush right here up in the left. So if you want to take a peek in there, if you haven't seen them, you can go and poke around if you have the theme. But if not, and you're wanting to learn about it, or even if so, and you want to learn the specifics of it, watch that video on theme settings, and you should be good to go there. But just know that your colors come from there. So these are not random. You get to choose those. And so you have your padding top, padding bottom. This just controls the spacing above the top or above the bottom of the section. I also touch on that basically every video, but I'll just do it here. So you can see that gap here changed, or I can switch it back to small, and you see that gap decrease there. So you've got your minimum desktop height and your minimum mobile height. That sets a minimum, so it basically says you do not want to go below a certain height. So we might be able to get an effect here, we might not. So you see nothing changes there, but if we go up, nothing changes either. So we might have to add something in there. And in general, it just might be sometimes you really can't see a change there. Um, Minimum desktop height. So you can see, so that we can see a difference there in desktop. So whenever you set that minimum desktop height, that is going to lock that in as the minimum height that you would get on desktop. So in a minute, we might play with those again in a minute to so it doesn't set the maximum, by the way, but we might play with those again in a minute just to see if we can get a better example there for mobile. But that is it for the section settings. So now we'll jump into the blocks real quick, and we'll kind of touch on those. So you have your you have your video block right here. So in here you can choose a cover image. Forgive me because we are just doing a test site, so I probably don't have the best images to put in here. But I'll just use this one real quick. So you have a cover image. Um, you have your image position. So do you want it to be center? So if your image is larger than the area, sometimes this image position can save you because it can make an image that otherwise wouldn't work, wouldn't look good. It can make it work. So for example, in this particular image, because it's the dimensions of it makes it larger and doesn't fit the area appropriately, well, I might be like, man, I really wish I could get this astronaut showing in this image. Well, this option right here, I forget if I did right or left. So right, it pulls it to the right of the image is the logic there. Um, Now we have that, so great. Although this image wouldn't work on a normal theme, for example, in this circumstance, or at least a lot of themes that I've used. I've never seen these settings available in a lot of themes that I've used. No Shopify theme that I'm aware of that I've used has these settings. Um, but then also we give you the ability to change your mobile image position. So I'd be curious, okay, what does this image look like on mobile? It actually looks good on mobile because of the way the layout shifts. So that is an example of how that can save you. You need one image alignment for mobile, but uh, another for desktop. Sometimes you might not need to change the alignment for desktop, but you need to slightly adjust it for mobile. Sometimes you might need to do it for both. So that option there can save you. Um, let's go back to desktop. Another option, so if you did not, sometimes this option is actually the best option for you, which is contain image. So if you click contain image, it does exactly that. It just contains the image. So if those dimensions are not perfect for the area, it'll just contain it. You may or may not want that. So for example, you can see that if I uncontain the image, how this area is actually this large, as large as you see the square there. But if you contain image, it just pulls it in, so it doesn't fill the area. Um, so it just depends on what you like there. But sometimes that contain image can really save you too. Um, so the video URL, you can paste in YouTube URLs as well as Vimeo URLs, and then you can have a video that will play through a light box. And the reason for that is performance. So this really helps your performance doing it this way. So if you click play, that video up in view, um, and you can click that X button. It's very similar on mobile. It's a good usability. So just in case you're interested in seeing what that looks like, um, you have it like this. And of course, most people, or maybe I shouldn't say most people, but people have the option to full screen it and turn their phone sideways, which is what they may do. The usability is very easy of it, um, and it works well. So there you have that. You can add your video alt text, which is a good SEO feature, as well as a good usability feature to have. All right, so there's the video. Let's do the product. So we're going to select a product. Let's let's just pretend we'll do a test product here. So boom. So you can see that it pulled in the title of that test product. Uh, the image is not working well. So again, this is where maybe you want to take it to the top. All right, that doesn't work so well. If the image was slightly different, that could have worked well, but in this instance, it did not. The center is not exactly what we want, so if we contain image, uh, we might need to do that, or we might have to customize the image dimensions to fit well in this layout if we want this layout. Or if you go back into the section settings, you may be able to make this layout work just a little bit better. Just depends. Like, do you like this layout? You might rather have this really this larger layout, which that image looks a little better. I'm not positive here if we uncontain that image, if it would actually look okay now. Um, it's borderline, right? Like, depends. Like, are you okay with that that image right there? Because obviously, if we do image position, it's still top's going to be too much. It's just the way the image is laid out there. So that would be up to you whether you like, center and you're okay with that, whether you want to contain that image or not. If you contain the image, the text readability isn't the best, so you might want to adjust this contrast right here to help that text pop. So you do have that functionality there. You have your content position. So this is nice too. It really works out well sometimes to help make sure the image, especially if you're using lifestyle images, helps to make sure the image, what you want being visible, is still visible while being able to have that text there. So for example, if you want to move this text bottom left, you can do that. You have all these different positions where you can align that text. So I'll just let you see that real quick just again. You have your heading size. So does it make sense to have that text smaller? You see that the font weight change there from an H3 to an H4. Your headings are also assigned in theme settings. You get two fonts, and you can assign either of those fonts to any combinations of the headings that you have. You have up to 6 headings, and then you have your paragraph text. Again, there's a video going over theme settings. Those are global settings. It is good to be very strategic about your brand consistency when it comes to your theme colors and uh, your headings and your radiuses. So those are also in theme settings. The roundness of these images, the radius, your buttons, all that's in theme settings. So just know you can have squares, or you can add a radius and go all the way down to having a circle for buttons, circular buttons. So those are available to you. So you have your heading color here. You can do a gradient if you have a gradient. We've got our primary here. We have, I'm going to go with white. So you have text. So let's see here. This is going to change the price. So just know that that actually changes the price there. Maybe in the future we'll update that name. But as of now, that is what it does. And you have your price here where you can turn the price off if you don't want the price to show. So you have that. And then check this out for a minute. Okay. So yeah, there's your padding for the wording. So that can really help you as well, make an image work very well for the block. So say say you need a little bit of padding there to keep that um, keep that to move that title up, if you will. you can do that with these settings. So you can see we got it further and further up on the product there. Then let's go ahead and shift over to mobile. So on mobile, this product, it looks all right. You've got your mobile padding. So, what do you want there? Do you like this on mobile? You got small. So you're not really noticing a change there. Medium, large, and extra large. So extra large isn't working in this instance now. Just because it doesn't work here doesn't. So just know there's a lot of settings, and just because something appears broke, it's really just because of the dynamic ability you have in the theme. So this might actually work with a smaller heading size. Maybe it won't, but okay. So it doesn't necessarily work. So that padding does not work for this instance. Sometimes I just want to make you aware. Sometimes if the title breaks, the setting you have might work. You might just need to adjust a heading size to see if that'll actually work. But in this instance, this large padding option seems to be nice. And then if you go to H5 looks good. Go to H4, H4 looks good. Go to H3, H3 looks fine. H2, so H2 breaks. It's just because of how large the H2 is. So just know that. And just so you know, in theme settings, if you go to the paintbrush under typography, you have the ability to assign what your heading sizes are going to be through your H1 through H6, and you can be specific and differentiate between desktop, tablet, and mobile. So those settings can be customized very, on a device by device level, and you can get very specific with how you want that to be for your brand. All right, so yeah, we went over all that. Let's go back out and let's go over. So we went over video, product, let's do collection. It's going to be very similar. So I'm going to move quicker now that we've got through this. Let's do collection. Collection products. It's going to pull in, I'm assuming it'll pull in the first product from the collection because we don't have an image assigned. If there was an image assigned to the collection in the back end of Shopify, you would see an image here. So it's going to pull in the first product image. If there was a description on this collection, it would pull it in, but you could turn that off. So that's what that is, but you don't see anything. That description, that collection does not have a description. You have your contrast here. So if you need to add some contrast, you can find what you like there. You have your image positions, or you can contain image. You can see a little bit of difference there in the contain image. This looks all right. Let's go ahead and pop back to desktop. So the image, so that might be why you want to contain the images. Although it looks good on mobile, it might not look the best on desktop. You might want to contain that image for it to be dynamic enough to look good on desktop and on mobile. So it just depends there. You have your content position. So again, do you want that title in the bottom left, your heading size, your heading color, text color, and your padding settings. So very similar settings as you can see. Then you have, let's go ahead and remove this, or remove the block, and we'll add in the last one, which is the image block, which also, I guess you'd say, be a little similar. This is very simple. You just add an image, whatever that's going to be. I'll just add the astronaut in again, just for the sake that this is a test website. So you can paste the link in here, and so you can see you could just have a dead image, like an image that's not linked, or you could add a link in here to anywhere, or you can paste the link even if it's an external website. You have that contain image option, which you really don't need in this instance. Image position. So there is the image block. All right, so that's it for the collage section, um, you're now that much closer to being prepared to use the DGD Crusade Shopify theme to maximize your site performance.